Hello, everybody. My name is Kyle. This is Kyle's Trail Miles, where I talk about all things running and ultra running. Fairly quick update episode for you today. I'm going to talk about the Calgary Marathon, which is coming up in 2 days. I'm going to talk about a bit of a nutrition revelation that I recently had. I'm going to talk about sort of the go forward plan because there has been a change to my race schedule for this year. I am sorry to say, and we will get into that. So first of all, Calgary Marathon. It's coming up in 2 days. I love the Calgary Marathon. I'm not a big road runner. Like, that's not my, the episode is called Kyle's Trail Miles. I'm a trail runner, but I love the Calgary Marathon. I think it just really starts out the season well, kind of gets things going. And my goal is to go in a road marathon every year for as long as my body and life will sustain it. So this is a great event. I love running. I live in Lethbridge, but I go up to Calgary. We turn it into a whole weekend, and it's just an awesome event. So I feel great, as good as I could feel this for this event. I did get my weight down. For anybody who has listened to previous episodes, I did get my weight down to 165.6, I think, which I was hoping to be 164 for the marathon. So very, very close. And then today I put on a little bit of weight just because I don't want to go into the marathon, hungry, right? You got to, do the carbo load thing. So I'll probably put on a pound or so over the next couple of days, just leading into the marathon. And that's fairly normal, but then I'll quickly lose that afterwards and continue my quest to 159. But I feel like I'm as good a weight as I could be, all things considered, and this is a good running weight for me, that kind of 165, 166, so I'm happy with that. And I feel great. I mean, I went for a run last night, and I just did a quick 1 kilometer. Like, I was running, I think, about a 4 minute per kilometer, and I just felt great. So really excited for this marathon. Who knows what happens? I'm definitely treating this marathon as just like I've talked about before, every year I kind of flip-flop, where one year I really try to set a PR, and then the next year I just go out and kind of enjoy it. That certainly doesn't mean I take it easy, but instead of running like a sub 330, I might run like a 340. I mean, that 10 minutes to somebody who hasn't run a marathon may not seem like much, but that's the difference between going all out and being totally done afterwards to just really enjoying the race, having a great experience, and being able to, walk back to the hotel after. So, so we'll see. We'll see what it's like on the day. If I get out there and just the circumstances are perfect and I feel like I'm going to be able to break 330, I'm going to definitely go for it. But if I can't break 330 and I end up just doing it in 340, even 345, I'm super happy with that. It'll be a fun day, fun event. So, really good to go. Calgary Marathon, let's do it. And then after the Calgary Marathon, I pretty much switch mentally to trail running and just getting in as much elevation as I can. And so that'll be the plan. As soon as I get back next week, will be every run has to, be stacking elevation. And I already talked to a couple buddies about heading to the mountains next weekend, and again, just start the summer of mountain running and as much adventure as I can fit in. So quick update on that. But bad news is this was the year I was going to attempt my first 100-mile race. Me and my two buddies, Murray and Paul, we've been talking about doing 100-mile for a couple of years now, finding the right race. And the inaugural Bow Valley Ultra 100-mile race, which is a couple hours from where I live, was taking place. It was a 100-mile race, 6,000 meters of elevation, which is fairly reasonable for a 100-mile race, which we chose that on purpose. I think it was 6,000, might have been a little bit more. And they had a 32-hour cutoff. So we felt like, hey, for our first one, that'll be perfect. I mean, it gives us, a lot of them are like a 30-hour cutoff, so it gives us a couple extra hours. And so we're really excited to do that. But they told us going in that they didn't have all the permits yet, but they were very, very optimistic that they would get them. But they sent out an email this past week saying that unfortunately it was a no-go, which, I mean, hey, these things happen, and at least they let us know with lots of advance notice. And again, we knew that going in, so the way she goes. But the one thing I did do, because I'm kind of a guy who has a backup plan for a backup plan, is knowing that there was a chance that that could be canceled. I signed up for the 100-mile Lost Soul Ultra here in Lethbridge beginning of September. Usually I go in the 50, but this time I went in the 100. And me and my friend were kind of debating, well, considering we're going in the 100-mile race at the end of September, like, let's not do a 100-kilometer at the beginning of September. Let's just do the 50. And I was like, no, because if the 100-mile gets canceled or for some reason it doesn't work out, this then sort of flips to that sort of A race. And so, so I think now my attention just sort of gets redirected towards doing a fast 100-kilometer run here in Lethbridge. And the reason I say that is because it's like, it's my backyard. I know the course. I run the course almost every day in some capacity. There is some on private land, which I can't run. But I've run the course enough times that I know that part like the back of my hand too. So if I'm going to go out and like rip a 100-kilometer course, this is it. I mean, it's only got, I say only, but it's only got, what would that be, about 2,500 meters of elevation. And don't get me wrong, it's not like, it's no slouch. I mean, you're going straight up the what we call coulees, but it's no mountain race, right? I mean, mountain races are a whole other thing. Like just the technical difficulty of the downhills. Like there's no technical downhills. The downhills are runnable. Like you get the idea. It's hills. It's not these crazy mountain rooted. Yeah, some of those mountain trail races, it can take you longer going down a hill than it can up a hill just from how technical it is. And so, yeah. So anyways, what I'm trying to say here is my focus now will be on two things. We're still doing the FKT attempt in August, and that's going to be ridiculous. I mean, that's going to be the adventure of a lifetime, and I'm so excited for that. But that'll just be like a different kind of adventure, just more of a slower, taking lots of rest breaks. I mean, we've got 4 days. So that's its own thing. But then from like a racing perspective, my sort of A goal and what I'll be training for is just ripping that 100-kilometer. I say ripping, I mean, it's 100-kilometer, but I don't know. It's like in my mind, I can get after it, you know, like, cause I can do the 50-kilometer. Like last year I did the 50-kilometer and I think like 6 hours and 15 minutes. And, and so I don't know. It's like there's no reason I can't do this 100-kilometer if I train properly, get my weight down. There's no reason I can't do it in like 14 hours. I mean, 14 hours, maybe even faster. Like I don't know, because I've never tried to kind of like go all out in 100. I mean, I've only ever done one other 100-kilometer race. So, am I setting myself up for disaster? Very likely, but if I'm ever going to, here's what I'm trying to say. If I'm ever going to go out and lay it all out for a 100-kilometer race, this is the one. I know the course like the back of my hand. It's in my hometown, so, you know, like it's just, this is the one. This is the one. This is the year. And what's even cooler is I am a competitive person, and I like to compete with people, and I know a lot of the people in this race. Like a lot of the people last year who, like I know, you know, obviously we all know our sort of local running communities, and I don't know these people like really personally. I don't like chat with them on the weekends or anything, but you know, we're in the same races all the time. And so I know the people that like I should be able to beat, maybe not. And so I've eyed up a few people that I would really like to beat. Just not that I want to beat them, but just for more of a, you know what I mean? Like it's just a kind of a thermometer for yourself, right? A gauge. And so, yeah, I've got my eye on a few people that like I feel like I should be able to beat. So anyways, I don't know. I mean, my loose goal would be top 10. Like I'd love to come in top 10 in a 100-kilometer race, especially one here in my own hometown. So that's my goal. Top 10, 100-kilometer Lost Soul Ultra. Will it happen? It could be a total disaster, but you know, it'll be fun. So, all right. Last thing I want to talk about. You're not going to believe this. I mean, when I show this to you, you're going to be like, I would have never expected this. I was talking about the Backyard Ultra, and, you know, they say never try new things on race day, but I never really thought of like the Backyard Ultra as like don't try new things, because you can kind of try something for one lap, and if it's not working out, well, then you don't use it for the second lap. And so I kind of misread that one. But one thing before the Backyard Ultra, and I talked about this in one of my race videos, so I retract what I said in one of my previous race videos, is that I bought these fruit cups, these orange fruit cups, and they're like Mandarin fruit cups. I was at Costco the week before the Backyard Ultra, and I saw these there, and I thought, man, that would be great, because I can just pop it in. Like, it's so easy to eat. I can have one every, like, this is how have no other runners found this? So I bought a pack, and I thought, I'm going to eat one in between every lap of the Backyard Ultra. And I did. And lap 9-ish, started having like real stomach issues. Like, just nothing was getting digested. And I kind of blamed it on like the heat and the steak I was eating, because I had little chunks of steak and potatoes, and it couldn't be the fruit. And so, I mean, it's fruit. And so, anyways, I kind of brushed it off. And then the following weekend, last weekend, I went for a run in the hills. I was going to do a 3-hour run with about 800 meters of elevation, about 23 kilometers. And so I come ripping around it's 2 loops that I do. So I come around the first loop and felt really good. Like, I was like, man, this is going great. And okay, I'll rip out for another loop. And then my sort of like loose goal was to do it in under 2.5 hours, but I figured 2:35, 2:40, no problem. So I come ripping into the pits right on time, hour and a half, actually it's like an hour and 20 minutes. And I drank a whole bunch of Gatorade and water, which I do, like, that's not unusual. And I have my trusty fruit cup. And what was funny about this is I almost didn't bring it. I was on my way out, and I have all of my like sort of running food in a big bin, and I was like, oh man, that'd be perfect as I rip through. So I grabbed one, put it in my cooler, and I come ripping through and slurp this back. And then I go running out, and like about 10 minutes into my second loop, I was like, this is like, what? Man, I'm having, like, I can just tell, like, my mouth gets dry, and I'm like, okay, I just drank a lot of fluids. My mouth should not be dry. And I look down, and sure enough, like, I can just sort of see, and I'm like, what is going on? And so I kind of, as I'm running, it just, same thing, like, I could tell, yeah, it just wasn't working. And I was like, and so I kind of brushed it off as like, well, I did do 2 really fast runs this week. Plus I did run, 86 kilometers a week. So I kind of just, and it was a little bit hotter today. I just sort of like brushed it off. And there was a point in that run where, I don't like to admit this, okay, but there was a point in that run where I was like, am I just like getting old? Like, maybe this is what it feels like to get old, is like, because I'm in my later-ish 40s, and I'm like, maybe this is just like how it happens. Like, maybe my stomach goes, and like now I just got to start scaling back. Like, maybe this is I'm on the curve down, right? So anyways, get back to the car, whatever, just sort of brush it off. But I'm a little bit like defeated, right, driving home. And then it wasn't until I think that night that I remembered the fruit cup. And I was like, and here's the thing. If we runners can't trust an all-natural, obviously organic fruit in some chemical syrup that does not require refrigeration and has an expiry date of 34 years, what can we trust? Like, what is the world like? So that was my mistake, probably not the best choice. And now it all makes sense, because as soon as I realized that, I'm laying there in bed and I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, fruit cup. And as soon as I realized it, it all just comes back around together, and I'm like, yep, that thing's garbage. So anyways, yeah, no good. So that's my story. No more fruit cups. 100-kilometer Lost Soul Ultra is now kind of like the A race. I'm super excited to just rip that. And that is one thing. That is one thing that I was disappointed about, in a weird way, is that knowing that we had that 100-mile race coming up at the end of September, and knowing that was the A race, I was like a little bit in the back of my mind disappointed that I wasn't going to get to rip this 100-kilometer, because I've always wanted to do that. And I say rip, like I'll probably, it's probably not going to work out, but you know what I mean? And then like knowing that, I was already kind of planning, like, well, let's just plan to run it in like 16 hours, and then, you know, because we don't want to kill ourselves before this big race. But now there's nothing stopping us. So I'm going all out. I'm gonna lay it all out there. If it turns horrible, it turns horrible, within reason, of course. And then the plan will be the following year, the Sinister 700 mile, because that's the only other one that's kind of around here, and that's a really, really hard race. I mean, it's got to be one of the hardest 100 miles in Canada, North America. I don't know. Like, it's just very, very hard. The completion rate is like 20%, 30%. Like, it's very hard. But now that I've figured out I'm not getting old, it's just fruit cups. So that's my story. Let's do it. So there you go. Update. Hope everyone's having a great week, and I'll let you know how the marathon goes after this weekend.